Caleb Turner clenched his jaw as he wrestled with the rusted latch on the barn door. His calloused hands, worn from years of hard labor, slipped against the metal. But he refused to let frustration take over. He had made a promise, to himself and, more importantly, to his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, that they would start fresh. This struggling Texas ranch was their last shot. "Daddy, you okay?" Lily's small voice piped up from behind him, concern knitting her freckled nose. He turned and forced a reassuring smile. "Just a stubborn old door, sweetheart. Nothing your old man can't handle." But in truth, Caleb wasn't sure how much more he could endure. 3 weeks had passed since he arrived at White Creek Ranch, answering a help-wanted ad for a ranch hand. It wasn't much, just enough to keep a roof over their heads while he figured out their next step. His past as a rodeo rider had left him with a busted knee and a mountain of medical bills. Then came the divorce, and suddenly he was raising Lily alone, holding on to nothing but grit and hope. Maggie Sinclair, the ranch's owner, wasn't in much better shape. A widow in her early 40s. She was fighting to hold on to the land that had been in her late husband's family for generations. The bank was breathing down her neck, and exhaustion was evident in her deep brown eyes. Yet she was tough, stubborn, and despite barely being able to pay Caleb enough to get by, he admired her resilience. Day after day, he poured his soul into fixing what was broken. He repaired fences, overhauled the irrigation system, and even nursed a sick calf back to health. Each night, he collapsed into bed beside Lily, his body aching but his heart lighter. Then, one evening, everything changed. Maggie appeared at the barn while Caleb was stacking hay, her hands twisting nervously. "Caleb, I need to show you something," she said. Curious, he followed her to the main house, where she spread a stack of documents across the kitchen table. "I found these in some old record my husband left behind," she explained, tapping a yellowed map. "Turns out White Creek Ranch isn't just the 200 acres I thought it was." Caleb frowned. "What do you mean?" She took a deep breath. "This land stretches beyond the hills, over 5,000 acres. My husband's great-grandfather bought it up, but the records were never updated with the county. We've been sitting on a fortune." Caleb's stomach tightened. 5,000 acres meant more than just extra land. It meant oil, grazing rights, development opportunities. It meant Maggie didn't have to lose a ranch. It meant she had far more than either of them had ever imagined. Maggie swallowed hard. "I wanted you to know because I never would have discovered this without you, and because you deserve more than I've been able to give you." Caleb shook his head, still reeling. "Maggie, I didn't do any of this for money." "I know," she said softly. "That's why I trust you." For the first time in years, Caleb felt something unfamiliar. Hope. In the months that followed, everything changed. The bank backed off, and investors lined up, eager to work with Maggie on developing parts of the land. But more than that, the ranch became more than just a job. It became a home, not just for Maggie, but for Caleb and Lily, too. One evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Lily ran to the fields, laughing as Maggie chased her. Caleb leaned against the fence, watching. "You thinking what I'm thinking?" Maggie asked, stepping beside him. He smirked. "That we've both been given a second chance." She nodded, warmth in her gaze. "And maybe that we don't have to do this alone anymore." Caleb didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached down and took her hand. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't just fixing something broken. He was building something new. And this time, he wasn't doing alone. To preserve the untouched wilderness, investors eager to claim a stake in Texas land poured in, offering Maggie opportunities she had never imagined. Yet through it all, Caleb remained by her side. He had spent his life fixing fences and taming wild horses, but now he was piecing together something even more fragile: trust. Trust in the future. Trust in the idea that maybe, just maybe, he and Lily had finally found somewhere to belong. But life had a way of testing even the best things. One evening, as Caleb finished reinforcing a corral post, he noticed Maggie standing beneath the old oak tree near the house, her arms wrapped tightly around herself. Something was wrong. Wiping sweat from his brow, he approached. "You got the look of someone carrying bad news," he said. Maggie turned, her face pale. The investors, they want to sell off a huge portion of the land. She hesitated, then added, "They're offering more money than I ever thought possible." A knot formed in Caleb's stomach. "And part of me wonders if I should take it," she admitted. "I could pay off every debt. Set up a trust for my son." He nodded, waiting. But it would mean cutting away a piece of what makes this place home. Her breath came out shaky. "I don't know what to do, Caleb." He looked out over the rolling hills, the land that had given him and Lily more than just a place to sleep. "Maggie, money solves problems, but it doesn't build a life." He met her eyes. "What do you want?" Silence stretched between them before she whispered, "I want this, what we're building here." His chest tightened. "Then don't sell out," he said. "We'll find another way." The next morning, Maggie made her decision. Instead of cashing in, she struck a deal with a conservation group to lease part of the land while keeping the heart of the ranch untouched. It wasn't the biggest payday, but it meant White Creek Ranch would stand for generations to come. And with that choice, something shifted. One evening, as a fire crackled on the hearth, Lily curled up beside Maggie, sleepily clutching her favorite stuffed horse. Caleb sat across the room, an unfamiliar warmth settling in his chest. Maggie caught his gaze, a soft smile playing on her lips. "You ever think about staying?" she asked. He smirked. "I thought I already had." She let out a quiet laugh, and for the first time in years, Caleb knew. This wasn't just a job. This wasn't just a ranch. This was home. Months turned into a year, and White Creek Ranch continued to thrive. The partnership with the conservation group provided steady income while preserving the land's natural beauty. Caleb found himself taking on more than just repairs. He was managing cattle operations, negotiating feed prices, even mentoring young ranch hands Maggie had hired. But the biggest change wasn't in the land. It was in him. For the first time in years, Caleb wasn't just surviving. He was living. One evening, after a long day's work, he sat on the porch with Maggie, a cold beer in hand, watching Lily chase fireflies in the twilight. She had blossomed, her laughter ringing through the fields. She no longer clung to him the way she once had, when it had just been the two of them against the world. "She loves it here," Maggie murmured. Caleb glanced at her, taking in the way the golden light caught in her hair. "So do I," he admitted. Maggie exhaled, setting her drink down. "Then why do I feel like you're still holding back?" His stomach clenched. She wasn't wrong. He had built a home here, found purpose, but a part of him still hesitated. He had spent years learning not to rely on anyone, because depending on someone meant risking everything. "I guess I'm just scared," he confessed. Maggie turned fully toward him, her gaze steady. "Of what?" He looked down at his rough hands, then at Lily, twirling in circles with her arms stretched wide. "Of messing this up. Of believing I belong and realizing I don't." Maggie reached over, covering his hand with hers. "You do belong, Caleb. Not just to this ranch," she said gently, "but to me, to us." His throat tightened. He had spent so long carrying everything alone. But here was Maggie, strong, stubborn, willing to stand beside him. And here was Lily, thriving in a way he had only dreamed of. Maybe it was time to stop running. Maybe it was time to build something permanent. Caleb squeezed Maggie's hand, the decision settling deep in his chest. "I'm not going anywhere," he said. Maggie smiled, and for the first time in years, Caleb felt at peace, because this wasn't just a second chance. It was a start of forever. Home isn't just a place. It's the people who stand by you, the ones who make you believe in second chances. And sometimes the life you've been searching for has been waiting for you all along. All you have to do is stay.